Do you know why when a thief enters your home at night, it's best to pretend to sleep? A tenant said that I was woken up by the noise of something being turned over. There was a thief in the room, but I didn't dare to open my eyes, because I remembered a news. The resident alerted the thief, and was stabbed to death. I could only continue to pretend to sleep, until the noise completely disappeared. I breathed a sigh of relief, but then I heard a voice in my ear. I knew you weren't asleep. My scalp went numb, but I still pretended to smack my lips, naturally pretending that I was still sleeping soundly. Soon, the voice said to itself again, "You're not awake, and you can sleep well." This time I didn't dare to take it lightly. Luckily, someone hissed softly outside the door, and the person squatting by the bed also stood up, because I felt the air moving. It turned out that it was a two-person crime. I heard the door being quietly closed. I dared to open my eyes secretly. The thief was not in the room, but they were still in the living room. I could hear slight noises outside. I live in a 3-bedroom shared apartment. I don't know if my other roommates would be murdered, but I didn't have time to think so much. I reached for the phone on the bedside. Although I couldn't make calls, but I quickly edited a text message, then sent it to call the police. Then I set my phone to silent mode. I put it in the quilt and hid it, and continued to pretend to sleep. At that time, I thought they would leave after stealing things. But what I didn't expect was that a moment later, the door was slowly pushed open again. My heart was beating wildly. I didn't understand. They had already searched my room. Why did they open the door? Aren't you afraid to wake me up? Until I heard a voice asking, "Do we really need to kill him?" My heart was beating even faster. I also realized that they might not just be thieves. Thieves are for money and goods. How could they think of killing? I didn't hear what the people outside said, but the door was closed again. I calmed down a little, but I couldn't figure out what was going on. They were carefully rummaging through the house, just like thieves. Didn't they just want to avoid waking me up? But they were very illogical. Logically consider whether to kill me. If they were so domineering, why not just kill me while I'm asleep? Wouldn't it be better? I couldn't figure it out. Seeing that they didn't come in, I secretly took out my phone again, because I remembered there was a home monitor in the living room. I quickly clicked to see, and I was even more shocked. Derek dead, and died tragically. His door was wide open, because it was too dark. I couldn't see inside. But what was exposed in the hall were Derek's feet and the head placed at the door. Even though the light was poor, but I could still recognize Derek's appearance. His head and feet appeared in the same plane. There were indeed two thieves and murderers, one tall and one short. They were wearing hats and masks, so I couldn't see their faces. At this time, they were still searching the living room carefully. I trembled and cut out the monitoring platform. I wanted to find someone else for help, but found a new message reminder. I clicked on it. It was my roommate Ryan asking in the group, "Are you all at home? Are you still awake? It seems that he hasn't come back." That's really lucky. I felt like I had found a savior. I quickly typed and sent it out. "Are you outside? There's a dangerous intruder. Come and call the police to save me." Ryan's reply made my heart sink. "I knew you weren't asleep." A chill ran down my spine. It turns out that the two thieves outside, one of them was Ryan, but it's not right. At least the one who said that in my ear was definitely not Ryan. Although I couldn't see her clearly on the monitor, but I can recognize her voice. And time passed by minute, and the door has never been opened. If Ryan was one of the two thieves outside, she would have seen through my feigning sleep. She should have come in already. This shows that how Fang is not a thief. Even so, she also has problems. For example, she ignored my call for help but instead said that sentence. I immediately replied to Ryan, "What are you talking about? Do you know I'm in danger now?" She replied to me that I know there are dangerous people in the house, and I know what they were going to steal. I was confused and thought carefully. It was indeed strange. Our security door is very strong. Ordinary thieves can't quietly pick the lock and sneak in. It turned out that the two thieves outside were led in by their own people. But what was Ryan's purpose? What was her purpose? I angrily sent several messages in the group. "Are you crazy? Derek was killed, don't you know? No matter who is outside, I have already called the police. You're doomed too. You'll be arrested together." Ryan said no. I said I knew what they were going to steal, doesn't mean I'm with them. I was stunned, and hurriedly asked what she meant. Ryan didn't answer, but asked me, "Do you remember we had new neighbors moving in?" I thought about it. Yes, 2 rough men did move into the house next door. But I didn't pay much attention to them. I asked again, "The burglars were them. So you said you knew what they wanted to steal, what they were stealing?" Ryan's reply made me completely chilled. "They are stealing your memories." Her words made me understand that she was definitely talking nonsense. From then on, I no longer had any illusions about her, because I had already texted the police, which clearly stated my address. The police should be coming soon, but I checked the time. I found that 10 minutes had passed. According to the regulations, calling the police in the city, there is a clear requirement to be there within 5 to 10 minutes. So why haven't the police come yet? I suddenly realized that the police office hadn't replied. Even if it's a text message alarm, it should have replied to me. I quickly clicked on the text message box and resent the message to report the crime. This time, it replied to me immediately, but the reply content was actually, "I knew you weren't asleep." I got goosebumps all over my body. I stared at this message and looked at the number on it. The number was indeed correct, but this content was even more outrageous than what Ryan to thieves outside were going to steal me. Was even more outrageous. Then Ryan said in the group that the police won't come. That was my reply to your text message. I was shocked. I felt like I was dreaming. And then Ryan typed again, "I knew you weren't asleep." I suddenly understood. She was proving that he knew the reply I received was the reply content was this sentence. I was so confused I couldn't help but send him a message, "What's going on? How did you do it?" Ryan didn't explain too much, but she sent 2 messages in a commanding tone. "Just listen to me. Don't expect help from the outside world. There's no hope. And don't let them know you're awake, or you're doomed." I was really dumbfounded. I didn't understand what was going on at all. But the reply from 1-2 police office did make me feel things were not as simple as burglary. Just then, I heard footsteps again. I quickly put away my phone and continued to pretend to sleep. I heard the door being slowly opened. They came in, and I could also hear voices. "Do we really need to kill him?" As the footsteps got closer, all my toes were tightly clenched together. But luckily, they disagreed, because I heard another voice saying, "Not in a hurry. I'll check first. He's really still sleeping." Then they started to discuss. Why couldn't they find May? They've searched everywhere. Let's go out and look. Killing him is troublesome. It will start all over again. That's true. Let's look for it again. If we still can't find it, kill him. As the voice faded, the door was closed again. I was so panicked. If I don't think of a way, I will really die. But I was even more confused. From the conversation between the 2 thieves, they were indeed looking for something. And this thing must be in. I was asleep. This is already strange. What's more strange is that if they couldn't find it before I woke up, their solution is to kill me. Since they are so reckless and coveted something from me, why not wake me up and ask me directly? As long as they don't kill me, I can give them anything. But what they said seemed to mean that they must kill me if they find me awake. This is full of contradictory logic, which makes me completely confused. I had no choice. I took out my phone and asked Ryan what exactly they want to steal. Why they have to do it when I'm asleep. Ryan's answer was, "Your memory again." And then she explained that only when you are asleep can they steal the memory. When you wake up and are conscious, they can't steal it. I was confused because if according to this weird logic, it makes sense. But the problem is, human memory is not an item. How could they be hidden in the room and can be stolen? I was stunned for a while. I typed to ask Ryan, "Am I seeing ghosts?" Ryan explained that it wasn't. "But you wouldn't believe it even if I explained." "But you'll understand once you do one thing." I was puzzled. She didn't start to explain why she was sure I wouldn't believe it even if she explained. Of course, I was more concerned about what it was. She said to take the Bluetooth headset in your backpack. Provided that you can't make any sound. Something will stop you, but you will succeed. I couldn't help but feel a chill down my spine. It's not easy. My backpack was on the desk. I need to walk a few steps to get it. But I'm afraid of making noise when I get out of bed. But I have no other way. If I don't move, I feel like waiting to die. I could only move the quilt away bit by bit. Carefully put my feet on the floor and stand up. I took one step after another. Every step was like walking on thin ice. Finally, I reached the desk. I touched my backpack and opened the zipper. My backpack should be empty, but at this moment, there was a head that suddenly appeared inside. It faced me, with messy hair and scars all over his face. I was so scared that I almost screamed. My body was stiff, and my hands and feet were shaking. After several seconds of buffering, I recognized this head was Derek, who had just been killed. Why did it appear here? I don't know, and I didn't want to know. What I cared about was my headphones. It was at the bottom of my backpack. I mustered up courage and stretched out my trembling hand, trying not to touch the head, to reach into the backpack. But Derek suddenly opened his eyes. I was completely petrified. Growing up, I have never been so scared. I was mentally prepared. I tried very hard to restrain myself from screaming and don't move randomly, otherwise, I would have made a sound. After a few more seconds, I realized that Derek's head was not aggressive towards me. He just stared with wide eyes, just staring at me. I remembered what Hao Fang said. There will be something to stop you, but you will succeed. So this is what was stopping me. I continued to reach down, and finally touched my Bluetooth headset. I took it out tremblingly. I turned around and wanted to quickly return to bed, but at this moment, I felt a hand suddenly put on my shoulder from behind. At that moment, I was frozen in place again. It felt like the only sound in the world was my heartbeat. I held my breath and turned around slowly, but found that there was no hand on my shoulder, and there was no one behind me. It was something blocking me again. I took a step and quietly returned to the bed, covering myself with the quilt. After several seconds, I completely recovered. I took out my phone. I sent a message to Ryan. I got it, and what's next? Ryan was not surprised that I got the earphones, was not surprised at all. She just neatly continued to instruct me. Put the headphones on both ears. Connect to Bluetooth, open the music app, play endless. Close your eyes and listen. Although I didn't know why, I did as she said. After putting the earphones in my ears, the music started playing. The dream was still powerful in the darkness. I felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity, and because I closed my eyes, I seemed to have fallen into an endless darkness. Suddenly, a voice came to my ears. I knew you weren't asleep. I was scared and opened my eyes suddenly. I found myself in a white room. On closer inspection, this is a ward. I was lying on a hospital bed, and there was a medical trolley beside me. Instantly, I understood. I was a patient. So, the rental house, that night, and the mysterious thief were all just dreams. No wonder Ryan said as long as I did it, I would understand. So that's it. Indeed, no matter how he explained it, it's better to let me see it directly. I turned my head slightly. I happened to see two doctors' white coats walking towards the bed. One tall, one short, both wearing hats and masks. For a moment, I felt a strange sense of familiarity. The tall doctor said kindly to me that you woke up. Do you remember anything? It's okay. Your medication will briefly disrupt your brain, which is normal. I frowned and didn't understand what it meant. The short doctor added, that means your brain will keep dreaming. Now you can't remember who you are for a while, right? Right. I suddenly realized, it's true. Except for the absurd dream just now, I don't remember anything. I asked cautiously, what's my illness? But the tall doctor replied to me that you won't remember it now. Let's wait until the end of the whole treatment. We'll explain it to you slowly. Don't worry, the treatment went smoothly. The short doctor also ordered. Remember, your dreams may be a little bizarre. Don't be confused. Otherwise it will be harmful to your condition, okay? I breathed a sigh of relief, and nodded, because that dream was really bizarre. The tall doctor said again, so close your eyes. And the treatment continued. I closed my eyes obediently. It was only a few seconds. I seemed to have completely lost consciousness. Then music started to play in my ears. I was startled. I woke up again. I opened my eyes and found myself back in the rental room. The song Endless was still playing in my ears. Embark on this endless journey. The sound made me suddenly come to my senses. I picked up my phone. I saw a message from Ryan. Are you awake? Time is running out, reply quickly. I naturally replied to her message. I know the truth, but Ryan replied in seconds. No, you don't know the truth. Do you think you just returned to reality? No. I was about to argue with her, but I remembered the doctor's words. Don't be confused. I immediately concluded that Ryan was also one of the factors that confused me. I just ignored everything. Because this is just a dream. It's just a dream. I just need to wait for the event to pass and my treatment is over, everything will return to normal. But Ryan continued to send messages. What you just entered is not the real world. If you don't believe me, think about it carefully. Did you see only two people? I believe you have already discovered it. The people who threaten your life here are also two people? A lightning flashed through my mind, and the music in my ears gradually became noisy. I took off my headphones. Then I remembered. Those two doctors, they were one tall and one short. They were also wearing masks, and I couldn't see their faces clearly. No wonder when I saw them, I felt a sense of familiarity in my mind. Aren't they the thieves outside? I was shocked. Was that ward the real dream? So the short doctor told me not to be fooled. But what if what he said was to confuse me? I was a little overwhelmed. I found that I couldn't tell which was a dream and which is reality. I could only send a message to Ryan then tell me what exactly is happening to me. Ryan still said the same thing. You have to see it yourself before you believe it. So what you do next is crucial. Are you ready? I know he's going to ask me to do some strange things, but I don't fully believe it. This is the real world, because this place is even more absurd than the ward. As for why the doctor looks like the two thieves, maybe I just projected the doctor into my dream that they appear here in specific images. Isn't it? I thought about it. I sent a message to Ryan. Who are you? You are just my roommate. Why do you know so many things? It doesn't make sense at all. But Ryan replied to me, of course I'm not just your roommate, but you must listen to me, otherwise you will have no chance. Surely, she is not just a roommate. What else could he be? He kept emphasizing that I should follow his orders, but I guess it's also to achieve his desired goal. So there is only one possibility for his true identity. He is the disease. This is definitely not the real world. I told him directly I won't believe you anymore, because this is not the real world at all. I'm receiving treatment in the real world, and I will be fine soon. But he asked me a strange question. I just said that the ward is not the real world, and I didn't say this is the real world. Don't you understand? I really don't understand. I thought he would continue to argue, convince me that this is the real world, and then continue to guide me to do some inexplicable things to achieve his desired goal. But on second thought, he didn't really emphasize that this is the real world. Ryan continued to explain, do you know why when you hear that song, you would wake up? Because that's your alarm clock in reality. I was stunned for a moment and immediately questioned. If the alarm clock can wake me up, doesn't that mean the two doctors were right? That's the real world. This is a dream. Ryan asked me back. This is a dream, but why can't that ward also be a dream? I was confused. I really hadn't thought of this possibility before. It's not just a dream, but a double dream. Ryan's messages kept coming. I didn't explain it to you at first because first, I had no evidence, and second, you wouldn't believe me. But after you saw that ward, you should be able to figure it out. I wasn't fooled. I continued to question. If this is a dream, then what are you? What are the thief and the doctor?